Alright, I think after analyzing this movie internally for way too long, it is time we, as a community, talk about this blessing of a movie. Because I didn't always think that this movie was insanely good. Surprisingly, the first time I saw La La Land, I wasn't that into it. My review, which was posted 2 years ago, went as follows. Solid movie all around. The editing and Solid movie all around. The editing and cinematography and the staging and lighting were incredible, and so were the actors. But on the con side, the plot points were not handled well enough to create a cohesive narrative, and the songs are shockingly forgettable or even bad. The songs are shockingly forgettable. This is the line that really stuck with me as I started to realize the way I fundamentally misunderstood La La Land. You see, even at this very moment, I don't exactly disagree with anything in that statement. The plot is simultaneously slow in the relationship with Mia and Sebastian, yet there's so many scenes that move lightning fast, like almost every musical number. So that can lead to unconventional pacing. The songs, while not bad, aren't exactly catchy in the same way that classic Disney scenes are. So no, they aren't the most memorable. But those slow-paced, seemingly filler songs make way for some of the most magical scenes in all of cinema. And to understand why, we need to look at the very first song, Another Day in the Sun. Ugh, this is exactly why I don't like musicals. It's just a bunch of people singing on the highway about a life that they want but don't have right now. You know what? I changed my mind. This movie really isn't great, is what I initially thought. In hindsight, this opinion does kind of make sense. I mean, this song is so hopelessly energetic and fun that it's pretty hard to justify its existence in the moment you're watching it. I mean, it called me to be on that screen. Hopped a bus, here I am. Am I brave or just insane? To me, that sounds like the most conventional story about a small girl who just had to be on the big screen, so she worked hard and now she's here. Wow. I mean, I had seen musicals before this. I knew how it was supposed to go. The Sound of Music opens with The Sound of Music. Yeah, they have the same title. It's just about how she loves nature but is confined in the Abbey. Alexander Hamilton from Hamilton is just about a guy who wants to be a politician. And then he becomes one. The actress in this initial scene also looks so deliberately airheaded, a genius trend that will continue throughout the movie. She's not really paying attention to traffic, she's reminiscing about her past. She has her hand out the window like she wants to announce this to the world. I mean, she's not even staring at the camera. How many cloud macchiatos do you think this girl has ordered in her life? Then she gets out of the car on the highway and it's like, what are you doing? You're not in a musical. From there, it just escalates. It goes from just her to the entire highway collectively dancing and singing. Some girl has a hula hoop, one guy's biking, one guy's flipping. Like, what is this? Well, as I'm sure you've already guessed, it's La La Land, a world beyond the regular social and physical rules, where everything is perfect and ideal, a world that our main characters will frequently dream about being in. So this song is great because it introduces us to La La Land, but it's equally great for another reason. Foreshadowing. Another Day of Sun is one of those rare opening numbers that does a fantastic job at introducing both the setting and the characters. And what's most impressive is that the song itself doesn't even have the main characters in it, which is so cool. Let's see what she was really talking about, shall we? I left him at a Greyhound station west of Santa Fe, a technicolor world made out of music and machine. It called me. Without a nickel to my name, I'm reaching for the heights. Clearly, this girl is an aspiring actress that loves her life unconditionally, despite most casting directors saying no to her. She just pushes through it because she's happy and gets to enjoy her amazing life in another day of sun. This line, by the way, is brilliant. Because nighttime is such an important aspect of Mia and Sebastian's relationship, mentioning the sun in the first song is great foreshadowing that the relationship doesn't fit into La La Land, and they can't exist together in that world. And then Mia.
Because maybe I'm not good enough.
Yes, you are.
No, maybe I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Maybe I'm not.
You are.
Maybe I'm not.
You are.
We get the real life version of this La La Landified song. Being an actress? It sucks. You don't enjoy yourself and you're constantly overworked and tired. Plus those rejections? Yeah, they kinda sing. Instead of simply saying what Mia's life is like, this song uses La La Land to show what Mia's life should be like, what she wants it to be like, but simply can't be based on her surroundings. La La Land can't exist. For every success story that you want to imagine in your head, there's 300 other failed ones, where the actors didn't get the role they wanted, even when they tried their best. It's a brutal realization to come to, but one that you really only realize when you see this movie again. I mean, as much as Damien Chazelle tries to make the audience focus on the lyrics in this song, by keeping this shot straight on her face instead of distracting the audience, it's really hard to hear every word, especially when she speaks that fast. That's why this scene is so easily rewatchable. First-time viewers like myself could think, it's a super peppy musical number that clashes with the rest of the movie for no reason. That might have caused those incohesive plot points I was talking about. In reality, this musical number is almost mocking the sad life Mia has right now. To me, this was one of the first realizations that I wasn't really being ridiculous the first time I saw this. I just think this movie needs to be rewatched. There's so many little details that you can't possibly pick up on the first viewing. And I gotta say, introducing the plot and characters this way works really well for me. I mean, I love Bonjour from Beauty and the Beast because it gets right to the point and also happens to be insanely catchy. But I can see how people might think it's an over-the-top introduction of this world. Personally, that doesn't bother me because this version of France has this whimsical vibe anyway, and it kind of feels like musical numbers fit perfectly, but I digress. In the same way that Bonjour sets the tone, the juxtaposition between Mia's life and Another Day in the Sun is equally as effective, if not more so. And I just really love it. Although musical tone setters are not new, I mean, almost every musical has an opening number. I've never seen one where it's this deliberately brutal, as if real life smashes most dreams you want to imagine in La La Land. Once Mia gets to show us how miserable she is in the life she's created for herself, we go to someone in the crowd, which is the opposite of Another Day in the Sun in every way. While Another Day of Sun is meant to test the naivete of the audience, Someone in the Crowd is about those fleeting moments, that small bit when La La Land becomes real life. Although it would be a great song in a conventional musical about how a girl met a guy and how everything was perfect, it's an even better song when you pick apart what the song's message really is. La La Land can be real. After a whole musical number about how great life is, then a brutal reality shift. Someone in the Crowd is supposed to lead the audience to believe that there's a chance. Tonight could be the one you've waited for, if you just squeeze a bit more. Although it will be hard, you just have to stay with La La Land, and it will come to you. But it doesn't happen. She meets no one at the party. So she decides to go to the bar and drink her depressing life away. And then, just when all hope seems lost, she meets a man. A dashing man who's playing the most magical love song ever. The most pure, simple melody with just a piano. Nothing fancy. Nothing modern. Just a piano. He's going to sweep her off her feet and they're going to marry and have 3 kids, and just kidding, he brushes her off because he was just fired and he doesn't feel like talking right now. Yikes. Again, you get that jerk back to reality. This guy is clearly not in a good mood after being fired, so he doesn't feel like talking to this random stranger. If Fletcher hadn't just fired him, maybe things would have been different. So after Mia pokes fun at him at the party, they start to realize they have quite a bit of chemistry. And then begins a lovely night.
We stumbled on a view that's tailor-made for two.
This is the song that most people point to when they say La La Land has good music, and I completely understand that. This is probably the one song that everyone can enjoy even on a first watch, mostly because it's gorgeous and hilarious, but I like it even more in hindsight. That seems to be a pattern with everything in this movie, come to think of it. You see, at first I interpreted this song as Mia and Sebastian denying their feelings for each other in a cheeky way, by singing about how there's no chemistry, but I'm not sure that's the end of the story. Since every song except one is in La La Land, I would assume this song is no different. I think A Lovely Night is actually more about how they both refuse to believe that there can be love, because their lives have been so devoid of magic, even when they searched for it forever. For Mia, it's about how she tried for so long to become a successful actress, to be on the silver screen, to be adored, to be good enough. and she never was. For Sebastian, it's how he tried so hard for Jazz not to die, and yet people seem to be less and less interested in it every year. Even opening a jazz club doesn't seem possible. So it's because of these two defeats that these two people are simply too discouraged to believe that magic could just fall into their laps. They can't fall in love because what have they done to achieve that? Compared to all the work they put in just to get a shred of magic into their lives, what have they done to deserve so much love?
Because
Why?
I've been to a million auditions, and the same thing happens every time, where I get interrupted because someone wants to get a sandwich.
They don't understand that everyone deserves to be loved, especially those who worked so hard for the things they love. Don't they deserve happiness after all their troubles? So after spending some time together and loving each other, the movie ends. They dance at the planetarium in La La Land and melt their troubles away. Two happy people who were once starving artists, but now love each other, and that's all that matters. Well, not quite. Sebastian, while at a bar, meets up with John Legend, who tells them that they're starting a jazz group. Finally, he'll have an outlet where he can play the music he loves and become a world-famous musician, which is all he's ever wanted. Except, is it? He just wanted his club, right? But this is the path that his life has set him on, and he no longer believes that any amount of work is going to change that. After all the attempts he made to get his jazz club, why should he keep trying if he's never going to get guaranteed money? This is Sebastian's main crisis in the movie, and it decides everything. He could either take the offer and tour, which might lead to him having enough money to pursue his dream, or it could just lead to more touring and him just being a mediocre band, playing jazz, something he doesn't really love, or he could reject the offer and stay true to his dream. But he just can't do that. It's too tempting of an offer. I mean, can you really blame the guy? He has been on the end of his rope for so long, and now he has the chance to make a steady income. It's once again that realization that La La Land is incapable of saving someone from their real world problems. But it's not all bad, right? It's still jazz. The simplistic jazz that Mia fell in love with that one faithful night at the bar. Nothing has changed from that. Let's back up a bit. I mean, we haven't even talked about my second favorite scene in the movie, City of Stars. This magical moment transcends the physical and emotional connection Mia and Sebastian have. It's about how they truly understand each other now. They both came to Los Angeles with relatively simple goals that were destroyed by life over and over again. It was a never-ending gauntlet where they were never sure if the La La Land they fantasized about would ever come true for them. But now, at this piano, as they look at each other and wonder what their futures will look like, it clicks, and we can see that in Mia's flashback. They finally realize everything may work out and that they're doing it together. It's a magical moment. One that is unfortunately ruined. Sebastian's semi-betrayal as he performs We Can Start a Fire is such a weird scene to watch because it musically doesn't fit with the movie at all. What happened to all those piano ballads, huh? I mean, yeah, there's technically a keyboard, but it's almost impossible to make out any classical piano in the music he plays, which is what made Mia, and in turn the audience, fall in love with him. I mean, the audience has pretty much exclusively seen him as a piano player. As a piano player who loves to play jazz on a nice big piano, not on some electric keyboard. It just feels so strange compared to everything else we know about him. But isn't this good? Isn't it good that he's letting go of his failed desire to make a club so he can start a tour with a group that's actually successful for once? I mean, he's still improvising and the music is what people like. Jazz is dying, there's no need for it to be around. The cafe was a dumb idea, no one wants it, otherwise it would have happened already. And that's the straw that broke the camel's back. By giving up everything that Sebastian stood for when Mia met him, she feels like she doesn't know him anymore. And so does the audience. What happened to the guy who was okay with living simply? What happened to the Sebastian that wanted his dream above all else? Well, it turns out that he's reaching his breaking point, and that fundamental disagreement is lethal to their relationship. It's no accident that this raw emotional power, this display that Sebastian is going to give up his dream because he believes that it's the right thing to do, finally allows Mia to give a breathtaking audition in the form of Fools Who Dream. Musically, this is juxtaposed with We Can Start a Fire, but it also shows how devastated Mia is at the loss of Sebastian's dreams. Her performance is so raw that she finds success. Finally, her La La Land has come true. I used to think that this plot point was completely random, but it honestly makes so much sense given what Mia just experienced, and how that fueled her disposition for the rest of her life. After getting a small chance at fame by writing her show, then having barely anyone show up, then Sebastian pulling this stunt, it's clear that she feels like dreams are just a thing of the past. Maybe part of growing up is realizing that your dreams can't happen, and she was just in denial this entire time. Why do you think she goes back home? Sebastian's actions were probably the biggest factor in what made Mia deliver such a good performance. The casting directors were moved by how open she was, and how much it really felt like it came from the soul. Because it did. This is another lesson in this movie that I think goes unnoticed. How random life can be sometimes. Like, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes something incredible just pops into my lap, and other times I work really hard for it and nothing happens. Like those Disney videos I did, they were my golden goose. They did well no matter what. The video essay that took me forever to make about the Hunger Games, the one that's probably my favorite video on the channel right now, okay, it did alright. I mean, nothing great. Sebastian's jazz career that would lead him to owning his own jazz club? Never gonna happen. The band that his friend, who literally re-met him out of the blue, offered him a spot on, made him become a rock star. Mia's show that she worked on forever to make happen? A failure in her eyes. The last-minute audition her boyfriend signed her up for? Made her become a movie star. As a wise rat once said, the only thing predictable about life is its unpredictability. But these successes will come at a price. Mia and Sebastian can't stay together. Not when Mia's moving to Paris and Sebastian's going on tour. They have to say goodbye, even though Mia sorrowfully proclaims that she'll never stop loving him. Once Mia comes back from her travels, we get to be treated with the greatest ending in any movie I've ever seen. Now, I'm not going to repeat what's already been said about this ending. Everyone knows how incredible it is. I just want to mention the nuances of this scene. Mia and Sebastian live a perfect life that deliberately contradicts the information we were fed this entire movie. Sebastian's old boss, Fletcher, greets them with open arms, as if to say, you two are gonna love each other forever. This gives off the impression that nothing will stop their love. And here, nothing does. From there, they're whisked away to their new home that they can somehow afford despite them both struggling financially. I mean, they're both starving artists, there's no way they can afford this. Then Mia and Sebastian talk about how Sebastian's going to open up his new club. And he just does it. No problems at all. Mia's show, the one that no one showed up for, including Sebastian, yeah, they're all here. These moments are so ridiculous, and yet they perfectly show just how amazing their lives could have been in La La Land. At the end of the day, though, this isn't a place that they can create for themselves. They have to come to terms with the fact that important decisions were made. Although there are fleeting moments when the stars align and you get pure magic, a constant stream of it is just impossible. Hardships will always get you down. Do you ever notice that no one ever seems anything but excited in La La Land? As if they don't have any responsibilities? Who do you think built that club? Who do you think put everything up? People. People who worked really hard and were tired. That's how the world works. There's no life in this pastel-colored universe, and it almost seems too perfect. Nothing is genuine, and it's slightly unnerving. Although the audience wants Sebastian and Mia to start a family and visit a jazz club and fall in love, it's just not realistic. Like I said before, decisions were made. They can't be reversed. La La Land in the real world comes at a cost. That's what I think a lot of people miss about this scene. City of Stars is, in a way, La La Land. It's the version of La La Land that really counts, because it's the magic that transcends the real world. The planetarium scene is another great example of this. Like, the movie isn't saying that they actually dance like this. That would be insane. They're saying that, to them, it felt like that. And this is the real lesson that we should all take away from La La Land. It's why songs like Another Day in the Sun and Someone in the Crowd feel so ridiculous. It's because they are. This movie, more than any other, is able to capture those rare moments of time where conditions are perfect enough to create pure euphoria that's able to feel real. As if you're dancing through the stars. As if you're singing on a highway. as if you'll meet the man of your dreams, be whisked away to a house, and be given everything you want. Although it can't happen all the time, it's worth fighting for. Mia and Sebastian did end up in their La La Lands. At the end of the day, they both got what they wanted. They just couldn't end up in it together. And that realization is what people felt when they said that this scene is incredible. It's that raw combination of emotions from such a simple glance as they look at each other one last time.